Several states refused to remove RFK Jr. name from ballot, hurting Trump. Well, if you can't beat Donald Trump with the actual causes and the argument, just beat him with lawfare and manipulation. Let's get into this. Obviously, last week, RFK drops out, endorses Donald Trump, goes to remove his name from the ballot. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. We'll get into the article here. This is kind of a summary, but there are a few swing states which were in play, but not really the key ones that we needed to pull a Donald Trump victory as far as the presidential. However, bringing home the Senate seats, and also you could pull a couple of congressional seats out of Michigan, Wisconsin, possibly, and Colorado was never really in play. But these are the key battleground states that are right now refusing to remove him from the ballots. Michigan, a key battleground state, said it's too late for Kennedy to withdraw as a nominee of the neutral party law, or the neutral law party. I guess that's what name he was going to be under on that ballot. Wisconsin, those election commissions voted 5-1 on Tuesday against removing his name, citing a law which says any person who files nomination papers and qualifies to appear on the ballot may not decline nomination. Okay, don't worry about Colorado. I'm not worried about it. No one is. But Nevada has removed Donald Trump from the ballot. Let's see. There was a couple other states that had already removed him from the ballot. Of course, some bigger ones like Texas and Florida have removed him. Those were always going, and Ohio. Those were pretty much in the bag. I think there's a dog barking. It's my neighbor's dog. We'll just have to deal with it like I do every day. We'll be in this together. Now, there are some states, North Carolina, where ballots have to be reprinted quickly if the RFK Jr. intends to withdraw. The Kennedy teams have not requested to be removed their candidate from North Carolina. I think that's a mistake. Maybe that was not the deal that Donald Trump had made with RFK, because never forget, this was a business transaction. This was a business transaction between RFK and Donald Trump. Hey, I'll give you this, you give me that. Remember, RFK is still requesting everyone not in a swing state vote for him. They're still looking to get that 5%, because next presidential cycle, they will be able to pull public funding and be more legitimate of a party, which is that's cool. You know, third party, apparently most people want that. I want that. That's great. But not at the detriment of having Kamala Harris and whoever is actually running her administration in power for another 4 years. Let's see. In here it was, RFK is gone from the ballots in Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. That's great news. Pennsylvania obviously is the critical state. If Trump takes Pennsylvania, the map becomes very challenging for Kamala Harris to actually pull out a victory. If Donald Trump secures Pennsylvania and then Arizona and Nevada, one of those, it's impossible. Which is great. Massive efforts going on in Pennsylvania right now by obviously the Trump campaign, but all the way down to grassroots. The voter registration is outrageous right now. They're registering hundreds and thousands of people a day, which is great. Now, the Democrats are definitely trying to keep pace, and in some counties they are obviously outpacing, but there's also a big voter cleanup going on there. Underreporting polling suggests Trump is poised to win. Let's go back. I remember it. I'm assuming you remember it too. 2016, there was polls showing Hillary Clinton at 52, 53%, whatever it was, and Donald Trump at 38. The spread was wild. She was going to walk away with this. He ends up winning. How did that happen? Like, what happened there? Where was the split? 16 points? That was wild. Polling is suggestive, and the inputs that you want to put in are going to give you the outputs that you want to come out. He's up by 1 point right now in Pennsylvania. I would suggest, or I would suspect, come November 5th, and then November 6th, he is going to be much further ahead. Now, the thing here is to actually just secure the win with so many ballots that they won't be able to figure out the difference that they're going to need, just like they did in 2020, when the water pipe broke in the stadium. There never was a water pipe break in the stadium. They were putting cardboard over the door or over the glass window so no one could see in. Of course, we had the videos of ballots coming out of nowhere. None of those things have been investigated. None of those things even was suspicious to any judge. Now, if I was a judge, I understand why you don't want to touch those things. They're toxic. I understand why the Supreme Court said, hey, man, we're not touching those things. And a lot of Donald Trump's court cases had nothing to do with those. They had to do, actually, there were more procedural arguments rather than actual fraud, which he was claiming on the outset. But we will not go too far down that rabbit hole. The point is that even if the polling is 50-50, that is a very positive outlook for people in Pennsylvania and the country at large. If you live in Pennsylvania, you need to get out and vote, and you need to vote early. That is what we're going for this year. We're not waiting till Election Day like happened in Arizona in the midterms, where predominantly Republican areas, the polling machines stopped working, or there was problems printing, or they had to go bring new papers or new ink, or run new machines down there and reset them, and making a massive backlog on the lines. And people walked away. People walked away from that election because it was just too long. There's too many people that need to go out and vote to turn this thing over in one night. You need to go out and early vote. That's what we're banking on. You need to win this thing by a number that is not stealable. That is the key here. Heading into the Democratic National Convention, Real Clear Politics and Emerson polling shows Trump leading Vice President Kamala Harris by 1 point. This cycle, Trump has led in 13 of the 17 Pennsylvania polls released. That's great. It's unlikely that Trump can duplicate Obama's margins. Okay, yes, there's no doubt about that. Obama had an amazing turnout. But let me tell you something. Kamala Harris ain't Obama, okay? I don't think that we will see another Barack Obama type figure in our time that had the massive turnout for new voters that he did. Now, another factor that may be strengthening regional bias in northeastern Pennsylvania, Biden wore the Scranton Joe proudly, emphasizing his birthplace in the Commonwealth. It helped Biden tap into regional swing voters that Clinton could not. None of these voters are trending Republican, but Biden's absence from the ticket give license for them to go to the GOP. I don't really buy that, and I don't really think a lot of, again, I'm from Dallas, Texas, so I don't really know. I'm just saying what I think. That's everything here on my channel. It's just what I think. I don't think people ever thought that Joe Biden was, when they call him Scranton Joe, I think CNN thought he was Scranton Joe. I think liberals thought that he was Scranton Joe that didn't live in Pennsylvania. I don't think anybody from Pennsylvania thought he was from Pennsylvania, okay? He's from Delaware, okay? He wasn't born in Delaware, but that's where he lives. Just like I was born in Michigan, but I moved here when I was 2 years old. I call myself Texan. I'm a Texan. Okay, that's how that works. Obviously, there's always the African-American males vote, which way they're voting. We will have to wait and see. I've heard a lot of back and forth on that. Don't really know which way that's going to go. Point being, that going back to the RFK, I'm going to play this video real quick about what the weight of RFK throwing his name and endorsement behind Donald Trump could mean. Remember, Donald Trump's already gone to the Libertarian Convention. He already got booed and cheered on stage. And I can't remember the guy's name that got nominated as their representative that's going to be on the ballot, but he is not popular. I would assume if they were going to poll 2% this year, they are now going to poll. They're going to 1%. They're going to get 1%. The other 1% is going to go for Donald Trump. That guy was not popular. The guy got on the ballot for essentially how Joe Biden won the nomination in 2020 through very well organized political deals. Okay, let's listen to this and see what this is going to the input here, and we'll talk about it.
Had suspended his campaign endorsing Trump. Kennedy telling reporters that Trump had asked him to, quote, enlist him in his administration. Now, the latest swing state polls show Kennedy with 5 or 6% of the vote. And so when you think about it overall, you may say, well, that's not a big deal. Actually, if that is the case in swing states, it is huge. It is everything. It is more than the margin between Harris and Trump in some of those same states. First time. Today, RFK Jr. had suspended his campaign endorsing Trump.
Okay, it's on auto replay. I didn't know that. Okay, that's huge. 5%, again, a poll is what the input is. You put what you want to have it come out, okay? Is it 5%? It could be. That seems like a lot to me, but when Donald Trump won in 2017, the third party, I think, was like 3.5%. Now, RFK is popular. RFK was polling from both sides. RFK has a lot of great things to say. He is a popular figure. The dude is jacked. The dude can go on long-form podcasts. He knows what he's talking about. His voice is very raspy. It is hard to listen to for an extended period of time, but the dude knows what he's talking about. And he has a very loyal and sophisticated following. The people that I run into that are RFK supporters or we talk about it, they're not dumb. They know what they're talking about, and they're in-depth thinkers. I can't imagine that now that he has also endorsed Donald Trump that they're going to jump ship and go to Kamala Harris. She won't even have an interview. She won't answer any questions. Where has she been since the DNC? Is she still recovering? Another thing, the DNC, I think, was a total flop for them. Their numbers almost didn't go up at all. Usually you get about 2-3% boost in the polls for about 2 to 3 weeks after your convention. It hasn't moved at all. And I will give it to the Trump and RFK team. They played that absolutely perfectly by making this announcement at the tail end of the RNC and just took the wind right out of them. That is great. Speaking of Kamala Harris, policy desperation. What is her policies? Oh, let's go to her website. I did this last time. There it is, Kamala Harris. Searching. Damn, that's a big old smile. I said this to a buddy the other day. I bet she's actually pretty fun to hang out with. She's probably pretty damn goofy. Like, if you had drinks with her, you'd be laughing your ass off, which is cool. But at the same time, like, that is irrelevant to me. Okay, let's see if there's any policies. This is their website, KamalaHarris.com. Okay, you can join the campaign. Meet Kamala Harris. Meet Tim Walz. Take action. You can buy some swag. Let's see if it says Brat Summer equals Nuclear Winter. Nope. No, it doesn't. And then you can donate, guys. You can always give these people your money. You can always give them your money. Okay, no policies. Still no policies. So let's see. Last week she said no tax on tips. That was Trump. I've already said that. He's already said that. No tax on tips. Okay? I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I think tipping has gotten absolutely out of hand. It is wild, the things that people ask you to tip for. But the next one, apparently, Kamala Harris wants to build a wall. after years of shitting on a wall, she now is endorsing the fact that we do need to build a wall. I mean, there's hours of going to. I haven't been to the border. I haven't been. Well, I've never been to Europe either, and I know what's going on over there. Okay, when you're at this point, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing, not for just Kamala Harris, but like two people that I know that are Democratic Party supporters, and I'm sure they have a lot of things to say. I support Trump. He does some pretty embarrassing shit. There's no doubt about it. It's like, damn, bro, that was not good. That's fine, right? You take the good with the bad, but this is bad. The Trump was racist. The Trump was racist. They did say that. The wall is racist. The wall doesn't work. 40-foot wall, 41-foot ladders. It doesn't slow anyone down. It's dangerous. It's this. It's that. Well, it's election time, and everyone knows we have a serious issue with immigration. We have a serious issue with other countries sending the worst type of people to us. Okay? And you want to put up a picture of a family just looking for a better life. Yeah, those people come here too. Those people come here too. There's no doubt about it. But when all of a sudden we go to other countries and their jails are empty, these people are coming from Africa, in the Middle East, in India, in China, and they look really fit. And I think I would assume it would be stupid for China not to send, their CIA equivalent operatives into our country. We have a serious issue, and they not wanting to address it. But now that it's campaign time, they're going to make a promise to do something about it. If you believe that, you deserve whatever you get. You deserve what's coming. Okay? If you're going to believe that she's going to do something about this, now that it's an issue, and poll after poll after poll, it's economy and it's border security. And they know that. And so what they're going to do is she's going to say something. She's going to say they're going to do something about it. Although Biden and Harris administration reversed almost all of Trump's border policies first week when they came in. And that's what started this absolute tidal wave of everyone wanting to come here, and the catch and release program, and the massive wave of human trafficking and children trafficking. Now they want to do something about it. Now they want to build the wall. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that people are believing it too. That's what really pisses me off, is that people are so blind to believe that. She's hiding. That's the fact. She is hiding. She's hiding behind the teleprompter. She's gotten actually pretty good over the last month, I will give it to her, that she's been reading off the teleprompter. Now, in a stunning turn of events, Kamala Harris, possibly the next commander-in-chief, will talk to the plebes. She will talk to us. She will maybe answer like a question. Oh, heavens, you are so great. But she will not do an interview alone. No. We're going to take this 35-minute interview and we're going to cut it in half, and we're going to have the coach of Middle America, Mr. Tim Walz, answer half the questions. Or be able to interrupt her and say something equally stupid before she does. Let's go through this from Axios.com. Why it matters. Harris faces extra scrutiny in first interview as nominee. First interview as nominee. We're going on 9 weeks at this point. Trump does multiple questions and interviews every single day. He's on massive podcasts, long ones too. They're not short. They're not, here are the questions I'm going to ask you, sir. They're not, hey man, like let's, I want to be invited to your cocktail party. No, these are real questions. These are real, like this is who he is, like it or not, but he's giving you the raw, unscripted truth. Why it matters. This is Harris' first in-depth interview since she's launched her presidential campaign. Harris interview, I'm going to read it in like kind of this girl's name's Avery, so we'll read it like Avery would. This interview fulfills the tentative timeline that she set at the beginning of the month, telling reporters she hoped to have one scheduled interview by the end of August. Amazing. One scheduled interview by the end of August. Yeah, and let's wait till the second to last day. Yeah, that's great. I mean, procrastination, that should be at least on their website. If the Harris-Wallace conversation is successful, it could extend their post-convention wave and neutralize the attacks Harris has faced for her lack of formal interviews since starting the campaign. So here she is. By the way, there was no post-convention campaign wave for the polling. That did not happen. Like at all. I don't even know if they got 1 point. They should have got 2 to 3. Anyways, so what they're going to do, they're going to have this layup interview. Who is conducting the interview? I think it's the blonde lady from CNN. Anyways, it might come up a little bit later, but they're going to be absolute layup questions, right? And then what's going to happen is the press is going to be, oh, it was stunning. It was the best interview. It was this. It was that. She does interviews. What are you talking about? You're fake news. She does interviews. It's right here. It's right in front of you. Okay? That's what's going to happen. But if there are stumbles, it could feed the GOP's ire in the final weeks before early voting begins. First of all, she's not going to stumble. This thing is, it might even say live at the bottom of the screen. This thing ain't going to be live. This thing is going to be scripted. It's going to be damn near, it's going to be edited, I would say, to some extent. This is pathetic. It's not that hard to sit down. Even if she did multiple interviews with people that gave her layup questions, at least we would have multiple interviews to lean back on. But the point is, she's just not going to do that. Wait, did I open this twice? I think I did. No, this is just Axios in general. Okay, let's get out of that. All right, let's get back to the Trump campaign. Trump is doing some good things. The campaign is doing some good things. They stuttered a little bit. Okay, they were kind of doing a little sidestep there, but they are definitely pushing forward. Divide and conquer, how Vance helped Trump make amends in Georgia. Again, Axios.com. Trying to use a couple different sources here. We all know there is a beef with former President Trump and the governor of Georgia, Mr. Kemp. Okay, that's no secret. Okay, he had a perfect phone call with Mr. Kemp in the last election cycle. And they have butted heads before that, and they have butted heads after that. Well, J.D. Vance is here to save the day. They are working to make sure that we do not alienate Georgian voters. Key for the Republican victory in the presidential race, and it is key. It is key. You secure Georgia, that eliminates a lot of options for the Democrats winning this thing. You have Georgia and Pennsylvania, it's nearly in the bag. It really is nearly in the bag. It had to be some kind of freak show for you not to win this thing. Georgia is critical. Georgia should be a +4 to 6 Republican. The Georgia GOP has done great things. They have massive ground movement. I know people that have went from Texas in the runoff. If we do remember, there was 2 seats that were in the runoff. We had young Republicans from Texas, and I'm sure other states went there, door knocked. That was not successful. And that was not successful for a number of different reasons. Okay? A lot of it was your vote might not count. That was not smart. Your vote will count. Your vote will count. And you need to go out and you need to vote and you need to get that thing in the ballot box. That's the only way that things are going to change. Yes, vote harder. I know. You hate to hear that. But if you want to change voting laws and you want to change this and you want to change the voter rolls and you want to do that, everything happens at the ballot box. Okay? We've already had our primaries. We got who we got. They're on the ballot. Show up and vote. That's the only way. Democrats are at 90 to 100% in some of their precincts inside the city, as Republicans are at 60 to 80% outside the cities in their precincts. It's almost a 50-50 country right now. 50% were winning these elections by 80,000 votes in 3 different states. The House is split. The Senate is split. It's because of low Republican voter turnout. If we turned out like Democrats turned out, this country would reflect properly what it actually is. and it is a majority Republican, majority conservative, majority not neoliberal or liberal country. That's why we need to turn out, and that's why it's great that J.D. Vance is in Georgia, shaking hands with Governor Kemp, making amends, and having everyone on the same page. Okay? We need to put all that behind the curtain. Let's zoom out. Trump and Vance are using a strategy in which the VP hopeful appeals to the people in ways Trump can't. And that's fair. Trump doesn't appeal to everyone. I totally understand it. He describes them as having a lot of similarities, but also some differences. That's a nothing statement. Vance said earlier in appearances together, so basically, I trust you. We should both be in different places, and let's do a really big event. Divide and conquer. Yes, you need to trust your VP. The VP spot has been this very low energy, kind of secure, very safe person. We need a charismatic person like J.D. Vance to go out, hold rallies by themselves, get people motivated, and meet the local ground team in these areas. And it's great. And there is a lot of awesome things going on the ground. Here is Scott Presler again, making things happen. He's out in Pennsylvania. He's doing great things. Let's see. They're getting the Amish to vote. The Amish could save America. That's awesome. Let's see. Of course, they're going to have speaking events. Trump is going to be there. Again, they're putting massive amounts of time and money into Pennsylvania. It is massively important. This is a little thing from what we just got done talking about. He said, totally kidding, but it's believable. Well, they're actually not taking him off of all the on the ballots. But hey, if that was the rule before he filed and before that they set everything out and before they maybe even printed the ballots already, it's fair that they're like, no, we're not going to now reprint all the ballots and take it off. Maybe if the Trump campaign said, okay, well, we'll pay for it. Okay, now that's a conversation. But if that's the rules, that's the rules. Again, we're a country of laws and rules, and we want law and order, and we want the rule of law. Here's these. Oh man, I love the internet. They're going nuts. So Scott Presler, and unregistered voters. Here's one about Scott Presler hunting down the Amish vote. This is the one that gets me right here. This is this lady hiding on the roof, and I guess this was like in the original ones, like a murder or something, like chasing somebody. And here's Scott Presler just popping up, like, I'm gonna get you. You're gonna register to vote. Oh man, this stuff is awesome. And the reason I bring this up is because tonight, so this stuff inspires me. Like, hey, if you want to do something, if you want to get something done, you got to get out there and do something. Look, it could be as simple as actually showing up to vote, but it could be something like I did tonight. I became a registered, in Dallas County, I can now register people to vote. Even if I register one person to vote and they go out to vote, they weren't going to vote before, dude, I just doubled my impact at the ballot box. And, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5. That stuff is important. Here's people, they're setting up right here, and they're getting people to vote. They're going to register them to vote. They're getting excitement behind the campaign. They're telling people to go out and vote early. And so, look, I'm in Dallas County. This state's probably turning red. But you know what? Maybe a couple votes here and there. These local races don't really there's not a huge margin. They're decided by hundreds or thousands of votes on the school boards, on the state reps, and a lot of good things can happen at the state level. So I decided to take the time. It was an hour-and-a-half class. You sit there, you chat. They teach you, hey, this is how you register someone to vote. You bring it to the registration office. Now they're registered to vote. And that right there is really cool, and that's the difference that you could make. And so I just want to remind everyone, like, the propaganda would not be necessary if there was not hope. So if you're feeling like there's no hope left, none of the constant lies and the streams and the gaslighting that they gave you over the years, especially for me starting back in COVID, would be necessary if there was no hope. But there is, because they realize that we're People like to think for themselves. People have their own ways that they want to live their life, and they have their own agency. And so you can too. So until next time, be great. Thank you so much.